talk about how to grow and scale your small business. By the end of this video, you're going to gain clarity on what might be holding you back in scaling your small business and what you can do about it right now. Has your business been the same size for years and you're not sure where to go from here? Are you terrified of taking a vacation or completely unplugging because you're afraid your business will fall apart without you? The truth is your fear might be actually justified. Your business could fall apart, and that's actually part of the problem and likely what's keeping you from scaling. So let's dig in a little bit more to see what you can do right now. Let me ask you a question. Are you a type A? Do you believe that you need to have your hands in every single area of your business at all time because you're afraid that if your eye is not on all these balls, they'll all fall out of the air? If so, that's a little bit of a challenge when it comes to scaling. Scaling requires a certain degree of trust, but the fact of the matter is many of us were raised to believe if you want something done right, you must do it yourself. And oftentimes that extends over into small businesses. And what happens is we see business owners and leaders refusing to give up a little bit of control because they're afraid that if they don't understand what's happening in every single area, that they're missing something crucial. Well, we can't scale that way. You can't think of a single company right now that has over 200 employees, over 100 employees, over 25 employees, where the business owner actually knows what's happening with every single employee at every moment of the day. It's important that we set up bumpers or boundaries for people, and that's how we can learn to trust them. The other thing we have to keep in mind is that a 96% is still an A. So just because something's not done the way we would do it personally doesn't necessarily mean it's problematic if the customer is still satisfied in being serviced in a way that's worthy of our brand's mission, vision, and values. What if I told you that you probably haven't even considered the number one thing that is very likely sinking your plans for scaling your business? Before I tell you what that thing is though, let's pause for just a second. I have to ask you, have you subscribed to this channel? Because if you haven't, how are you going to keep up to date with all the great juicy information that we're sharing here? So make sure that you stop and subscribe right now. Okay, so let's get back to that one juicy thing that's probably hurting your business and sinking your plans for scaling. Are you ready to learn what that thing is? It's you. It's me and my business, right? Once upon a time before I understood this principle. The challenge is that we are doing too much in our own businesses. And oftentimes it keeps us from scaling because we have to focus as business owners on the revenue generating activities. These are the things like creating new IP or making those valuable sales calls or network with people that have the ability to move our business forward. Those are the types of things that we should be focused on. Any type of administrative or operational tasks that don't really contribute to the bottom line are not things that we should be focusing on ourselves. It doesn't mean that they're not important, but what it does mean is that we're stealing from our company if we're using the amount of money we're worth, what we could bring in, to do more administrative level tasks. So again, all roles and responsibilities are important within our organizations for sure, but we don't want to overpay someone to do someone else's job. So let's say that you have a software engineer and you have an administrative assistant that answers calls at the front desk. Both of these jobs are crucial, but 9 times out of 10, that software engineer is going to be making more money than that administrative assistant. Not because what they're doing isn't extremely important, but because the work that they do is valued at a different rate. Well, this applies to you as well. You should not be doing the work that the administrative assistant is doing either. 9 times out of 10, you shouldn't even be doing the work that the software engineer is doing, even if you know how to do it. You have to focus on the highest level revenue generating activities. Otherwise, we're stealing from our company's potential. So how do we give up control? The first big step is to start mapping out your systems. If you haven't already, create a customer journey map. From the moment you get a phone call or an email or your salesperson makes that initial contact, what is their journey through your organization? Take it all the way to the end where they're repeat clients or where they give you referrals. Map that out. You also want to start to map out internal processes. Any type of thing that you're doing right now that you plan to get off your plate, start to create directions or a mind map or some type of document that's outlining how the action should be performed so that you know that it's being governed by your boundaries. You can create action lists. You can start to design processes in more detail. So again, the more that we start to outline exactly what we need, especially paying attention to the outputs that we need on each level, It makes it easier for us to give up control and focus on those revenue generating activities that you spoke about. So let me tell you what your number one temptation is going to be right now. You're going to hear me talk about writing out processes and steps, and your first thought's going to be, ooh, let me find the newest technology to do it. Do not find any new technology until all of these things are actually mapped out. Technology should accomplish these tasks, not create a problem where you're trying to figure out how to use it. So once you have all of these systems and processes mapped out, now it's time to figure out who you're assigning these different tasks to. So for instance, I've grown a couple different businesses now myself, and one of the things I was able to do is through using processes, I was then able to either bring in employees or contractors to start doing the work itself. And so now's the time for you to start asking, are you going to use technology, employees, or outsource to be able to scale your business? But let me tell you the one secret. One of the things that are most key in scaling a business is taking yourself out of it as much as possible. And when I say taking yourself out of it, I don't mean you're not managing it. I don't mean that you're not nurturing it. But I mean that you don't have to be in every room for it to run, because a truly great business is one that'll run even in your absence. If you take a vacation, if you get ill for a couple months, the business should not just fall apart. You should have plans and systems in place that your people can work so that the business continues to carry on no matter what happens with you. One other thing that you might want to consider when it comes time to scale your business is looking at your pricing structure. Oftentimes, the way that we price our business influences how much we're able to scale. So for instance, in my own businesses, when I started off, I charged a nominal fee. I was trying to be the Walmart of my industry. And so when you compete on cost, oftentimes you have a little less meat to work with, and I say this as a vegetarian, than someone who charges more so that you have less money to invest in R&D, research and development. You have less money to invest in the newest technologies or new labor that can help you expand even more. So you might want to look at your pricing strategy. Look at your business model. Should you change the way that you're pricing? Can you up your pricing a little bit more? Is there a way to get clients to pay you larger deposits up front? This very much depends on the type of business that you have, but keep in mind that it's easier to scale when you have more cash flow to work with. If you need a few more tools to help you in scaling your business, I have a free gift for you. You'll notice in the description of this video, you'll find a link to download my Future Ready Playbook. This playbook will give you some activities as well as some worksheets that can help you think more strategically about planning the future of your organization. Make sure you go and download it today.